A History of Radio. James Clerk Maxwell began conducting experiments with electromagnetic waves in 1861. He theorized that one could send these waves through the air. From 1886 to 1888, Heinrich Rudolf Hertz validated Maxwell's theory through his own experiments. The first to apply the mechanism of electrical conduct to wireless uses was Nikola Tesla in 1893. Guglielmo Marconi was known as the father of long-distance radio transmission. He was first to achieve successful radio transmission. Other Italian scientists thought he was insane when he explained his discoveries, so they dismissed him. Later he would start his own enterprise in England called Marconi Corporation. Reginald Fessenden was known as the father of radio broadcasting. A Canadian, he moved to America as an accomplished scientist, but is known for the first radio broadcast on Christmas Eve in 1906. Ships on the harbor heard his violin play "O Holy Night" from Brant Rock, Massachusetts. In 1912, the Titanic hit an iceberg and sinks. Only one man heard their SOS call that night, a Welshman named Artie Moore, but he wouldn't know until the next day what he had heard. Later, that same year, the Radio Act of 1912 was implemented, requiring that all seafaring ships maintain 24-hour radio watch and keep in contact with nearby ships and coastal radio stations. In 1919, the first clear transmission of human speech was heard. By 1920, AM radio was developed, and the first news station began broadcasting in Detroit. An issue was quickly found with AM radio frequency, or amplitude modulation. Its waves went lower to the Earth's surface, so the broadcast was disrupted by the terrain, specifically mountains. FM radio was then developed by Edwin H. Armstrong. It minimizes static and interference from equipment and the atmosphere. It also eliminated the problem with mountains, since the waves went higher into the atmosphere. By 1943, the United States government was using radio in warfare. The Germans put out propaganda to warn against the use of radio for non-military citizens. Between 1954 and 1960, small handheld radios became popular. And in 1963 to 1987, satellite radio was developed, and GPS would begin its life, though it would not become widely available for public use until the 1990s. In 1994, software radio was invented by the U.S. Army. It could receive and transmit on multiple radio frequencies simultaneously. Today, we have internet radio, requiring no wavelength. It is the newest form of radio today.